It's now time for Ask the OUR, brought to you by the Office of Utilities Regulation, regulating utilities for the benefit of all.
Welcome back to At Your Service of a not familiar voice at this time on a Friday morning, but our regular host, Vernon Darby, is out with a chikungunya. But the OUR, this and every Friday morning at this time, the OUR team join us here as we speak about consumer rights and responsibilities, and they update you about the issues that are of interest to you. Let me tell you, the OUR plays a very, very important role as the sole regulator of utility services in Jamaica, such as water and sewerage, electricity and telecommunications. Big issues. These are issues that we have to contend with on a daily basis in our houses, in our businesses. We have very difficult budgets to manage, so we have to juggle the electricity bill, the telephone bill, the water bill, and then sometimes the service is not too good. Well, the OUR is there to help you to get value for your money, on paying those, when you pay those bills. So, one of the things they're now promoting is that they will come to your community. They will visit your community or workplace to talk with you about your utility issues. We have joining us public education specialist at OUR, Elizabeth Bennett Marsh. Good morning, Liz.
Good morning, Cliff. Good morning to your listeners.
Very good to have you.
Thank you, Cliff. And this is Nationwide 90 FM, right?
It is.
Hearing you at this time of the morning.
Poor Vernon get chickened out with chikungunya.
Poor Vernon.
Oh, God. All right. So you are now prepared to go into the communities to talk with your clients about utility issues?
Well, Cliff, we've always been willing to go into communities. I'm just not sure that persons were aware of it. I mean, for many years, we have always prided ourselves on going into meeting people where they're most comfortable, because we serve the utility customers, and when you consider it, that's all of Jamaica right there.
So how is your community outreach different from persons just coming in with their issues and problems?
Well, outreach discusses a myriad of issues versus the more personal, singular problems that persons who come into us have. So when persons come in, it's because they have a problem with one bill or the other. So when we go into communities, we educate them about their rights and responsibilities. The interaction we find is greater given the multiplicity of issues that are raised by these persons, and it's also a multi-sector approach, because then persons are wanting to discuss issues not just pertaining to one sector, but they would include the telecommunications, the small water provider if they're in their area, and the water and the electricity.
Your mandate covers water, storage, electricity, and telecommunications, big areas.
Very big areas.
In your experience, what areas do you find that consumers are mostly concerned about?
Electricity, definitely. We get,
JPS.
By our data, we get most complaints about the electricity sector, from billing issues to connection issues. It's a myriad of issues about, and then NWC follows closely behind. And then we have the telecommunication sector, which is Digicel, Lime, and Flow. Yeah.
And do you have guidelines that determine whether you accept requests from people in the community, what you do? What guidelines do you have?
Yes, Cliff. I should say first that we go into communities, we go into workplaces. We've done a number of workplace outreach, lunch and learn sessions. Various workplaces want their staff to know more about issues that affect them, so they would invite us, and then while they're having lunch in their cafeteria, we're speaking with them. We do that as well. We'll go into secondary level and tertiary level schools as well, because some of them are already consumers, when you consider the usage of mobile telephones, which we also regulate. So who use phones more than teenagers, right?
Yeah.
So we want to speak more with them about what are their rights and responsibilities. And they're also future customers of the NWC and the JPS as well. So we want to make contact with them as well, because we feel that an educated consumer is an empowered consumer.
That's a good...
What determines it? Distance. Yeah. How far it is, how many persons will attend, because we also want to look at that, because we don't want to go to Montego Bay and speak with only 2 persons.
Yes.
whether our personnel are available. Of course, we always try to make ourselves available. And the notice period, give us some time so we can put ourselves together so that it will be a mutually beneficial conversation that we have.
Yes. So it's a good time to tell you, listeners, how you can contact the OUR. They have a website at www.our.org.jm.
Right.
You can also like their Facebook and Twitter pages. They're always happy to hear from you. You can also call them at their toll-free number, 1-888-CALL-OUR. That's 1-888-2255-687. All right? That's 1-888-CALL-OUR. You can also contact your Consumer Affairs Unit. You have an email address here for them as well?
Yes, we have consumer@our.org.jm. That's consumer, singular, at our.org.jm. And public affairs, for those who may want to still do a speaking engagement or so, public affairs at our.org.jm.
Right. So you get asked many questions. But today,
Yes.
What is the question of the day?
Well, every week we're going to be pulling out an issue out of our system, a question that persons would have asked, or when we see a pattern developing. So today, Cliff, we're treating with an issue that we're seeing a lot of complaints about. So this person wrote us, I'm currently experiencing huge smartphone mobile data charges. What can I do to reduce my monthly data charges? Now, several customers, Cliff, as you can appreciate, have made complaints about this.
It is a big issue, and the telecoms providers are dodging.
Yes, I don't know if they are dodging.
Well, that's my word, not yours.
If we know more about what to do, then we can also help ourselves. So you can use a number of measures to ensure that you do not exceed the amount you have budgeted for data usage on your smartphone. So these include, for example, setting data alerts and limits. So if you have not already done so, set up data alerts and limits on your phone, and this will help you to keep tabs on your data usage.
Okay.
Switch to Wi-Fi where possible, Cliff. If they have for example, at the office, a lot of employers now provide free Wi-Fi service to employees. In your home, you switch to it as well. There are a lot of eateries and other service-oriented entities that offer free Wi-Fi to their customers. So look out for those signs and then switch, so that will help in terms of your data usage that you're paying for.
Good advice.
Limit background data. One of the main drains on your data is probably going to be background syncing. Like when an app like Facebook grabs an update, or your phone checks to see if there's any new email on your server. If you have that setting in place, then you're always going to be using up data, even when you don't realize it.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So those are the things that we have to be very conscious of. Maybe you want to do manual updates instead of an automatic update, because many of these software now have it. For websites, use mobile versions of websites. Instead of the versions that are do not have mobile capability, because the simpler mobile versions will upload faster and use up less of your data. You may also want to consider changing your plan to one that offers more data. This will work out to be more cost-effective for you than paying out-of-plan data charges. So some persons know they use their phones a lot, but they buy a small data plan. So when it exceeds it now, that's when a lot of the charges start to go up. So you have to be realistic about your data usage.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. And just before we go, the consumer tip of the day.
Cliff, the consumer tip of the day, still on telecoms. All billed amounts on your mobile phone bill for data services must be settled with your service provider within the specified time frame. The OUR cannot provide protection or recourse in the event that you should become delinquent and your service is disconnected by your service provider. Therefore, please be vigilant, listeners, and proactive to ensure that you are properly controlling and monitoring your mobile data usage on your smartphones.
That's hard, because the income stay these days.
I know.
But you have to do it.
You have control over your data usage, Cliff, especially
yes.
for prepaid and so on.
Just cut the usage. Stay within your budget.
Yeah, stay within your budget.
Yeah, that's the kind of discipline we need.
Yeah.
Thank you. So give me quickly how we can reach you again, your website.
You can, our.org.jm, Consumer Affairs Unit. It's consumer, at our.org.jm. And if you want us to come and speak with you, whether in the community, at school, in the workplace, public affairs, at our.org.jm. And we're listed in the directory.
Okay. Thank you very much, Public Education Specialist at the OUR, Liz Bennett Marsh. They'll be back here next Friday morning at 9:20. Thank you, Liz. This is At Your Service on Nationwide 90 FM.
That was Ask the OUR, brought to you by the Office of Utilities Regulation, regulating utilities for the benefit of all.